has sprung, seemingly overnight. Today is the first day where all of these gorgeous trees outside of my apartment are starting to bloom like crazy. I love this apartment year round for different reasons, but I have to admit every year I forget how glorious it is in the spring. This is now my third spring here. I mean, technically the first spring was like right after I moved in. And yeah, I think this might be my favorite season in this apartment. I don't know. It's pretty great in the fall too. It's really giving me the itch, you guys. The itch to move everything around in my apartment. Now, the thing with this apartment is it's actually quite large. I don't know for sure the square footage, but if I had to guess, I want to say maybe like 850. It's very spacious for a one-bedroom apartment, but there are a lot of doors and a lot of windows, and I have locked myself in with a couple furniture pieces, namely this gorgeous credenza here, which I love, but it is really big, and this is kind of the only wall it can go on. And obviously I've wall mounted my TV too, which has kind of locked me in as well. I am kind of known for moving my furniture around every couple of months. It's kind of like an ongoing joke with my friends. Something has to be shifted. When in doubt, floor plan. If you don't know, I am an interior designer kind of by trade. That was like my past full-time job. And in recent years, I've mostly done consultations. So it's actually been a minute since I've done a legitimate floor plan. I actually already started moving stuff around right in this area that I'm sitting in. Now that I have this gorgeous window open, I really want to be able to like sit and look out the window, which I do kind of have intentionally set up in a way that I can swivel this chair and do this in the morning with my coffee. Might be doing a little bit of shopping for some new pieces, nothing major. This will be fun. When I was a kid, I would spend hours upon hours upon hours playing The Sims, not playing with the families or the people whatsoever, just building and decorating houses. I should have known what I would have ended up wanting to do as an adult because the signs were there pretty early. But anytime I feel really any sort of stagnancy in my life whatsoever, one of the first things I do is move stuff around my space. And I highly recommend that you try the same if you haven't. Even like the concept of quantum jumping, people say that the first thing that you need to do is disrupt the routine. And where do we spend more time in our routine than in our homes on a daily basis? So if you're feeling stuck, maybe give it a try. This already feels so much better to me without the ottoman. I have loved the ottoman for comfort, and the cats sure have loved the ottoman, but it's just so big. Like, it definitely was one of those things I got on a Facebook Marketplace, and I did measure it. I didn't realize how big it was until I actually got it in the room, and I was like, oh, it's the same footprint as the chair. Like, it's like having another chair. I think it's actually bigger. This already feels so much more airy and open and better for like an energetic flow. And I have to be honest, I saw a love seat on Facebook Marketplace today that I can't stop thinking about. It's literally just an IKEA love seat, but like way less than buying it new from IKEA and barely used. I've always wanted some sort of like settee bench love seat piece up against this window because it's such a gorgeous view that I want to be able to kind of like lay or sit kind of more like parallel to the window and like look out of it. This is where the floor plan is going to come in handy because I just really can't tell if it would look okay here or if it would look so bizarre and crunched in here with this credenza piece. Yeah, I'm just like so desperate for change. So yeah, we'll see. The other thing is my building doesn't have an elevator and I live on the third floor. Anytime I even have to think about getting a furniture piece up here, I'm like, How am I going to do that? I was supposed to go to the gym tonight, but I just was like too eager to get into this project tonight. And I was like, ooh, the vibes are right. It was really sunny today, but it's starting to get cloudy now. And it just feels like a cozy, obviously I have Charmed going on in the background as per usual. I'm going to make a cup of coffee and get started on this floor plan. It just started raining and there's like a nice cool breeze coming through the windows. I love this kind of vibe. I don't know, you guys, I'm really torn on this whole love seat thing. If I was designing for a client, I would probably tell them, I don't think so. I think it's going to be too cramped, but it's just my apartment. And I always think it's so interesting when people like know that I have an interior design background. They'll ask me like, can I do this? And my answer is so annoying because I'm like, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. It's your house. But people get really hung up on like the rules and what you're supposed to do and not. And I think there's some things that there are very clear black and white things. Like one of my pet peeves is when people have a 5x8 living room rugs that are too small for the space. I think looks just like absolutely stupid. But otherwise, I'm a little bit more loosey-goosey and a little bit more kind of up to the personal preference of the person that is actually going to live in that space. In this case, that's me. And it looks tight on the floor plan. I just want to be able to sit by this window more comfortably so bad. This window to me is like the star of this apartment. And I just don't think that she's getting her flowers right now in the way that she deserves. But sometimes I want to change stuff just to change stuff. Just, my God, to freshen up the energy in here. I just get really antsy when things have been in the same place for too long. It just kind of makes me feel almost like claustrophobic because it starts to feel really stale and I just like need to get the chi moving in the home. Lots of things to ponder. It's late enough tonight that I'm not going to get into actually moving anything, I don't think. But I'm going to ponder, I'm going to putter, I'm going to peruse, and I'm going to think about what I might get up to this weekend. It's Friday night right now. Yeah. Okay, so obviously I lied last night when I said, oh, it's late enough that I'm not going to move stuff around. I move stuff around, and I have to say, I'm really vibing with the direction things are headed. All stuff that was easy to move last night, but like kind of made a big impact, I think. So I moved my bed over a little bit, which for whatever reason in the past, I was like, it has to be centered on this wall. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. There's another example of like a design rule. It doesn't have to be. And this like opens up because I sleep on this side of the bed. It opens up this walkway now, whereas like it felt really crunched before. Also, I can now open my closet doors all the way. Who would have thunk? Art is still centered on the wall, so I do need to climb up there at some point today and just like shift that over a little bit. And then another crazy concept. I'm going to try using my vanity as a vanity and using my altar as an altar. So I think that'll be fun to try out and see how that goes. I now have a list of some things that I'm hunting for. I also have some things that I'm going to end up selling. So my goal is to basically come out about even and not spend much money. Have my eye on a mirror for this space. Not going to hang it, just going to lean it up that I can actually do my makeup at the vanity. Very nice. I moved the altar over to where this was. The love seat is not going to happen. I stared at the floor plan, love the concept, but I think that in actuality it would just feel really bulky. But I am about to go pick up 2 corner chairs that go together to make almost kind of like a settee love seat type of vibe, but they're going to be way smaller profile. They can obviously be separated. Other big bonus is I can carry them myself, and they're a lot less expensive than the love seat was. They could also potentially go at the end of my bed if I want to try them there. A lot kind of lower risk and lower commitment if I do end up not liking them and just wanting to like sell them in a little bit. I'm going to play around with them to have them kind of side by side. I might try having them separated with this table in between. But yeah, they're located about like 30 minutes away, and I actually have to go like right now. So this is what we're working with so far. I think it's looking good. I don't think it's looking great. I love these chairs in the size, purpose, and functionality. Like they're absolutely serving. That's not what I was going to say. I was going to say they're serving the purpose. They're serving the purpose that I wanted them to serve, which is that I can sit really comfortably either direction and look out the window. I was testing it out earlier too, because this is where I do my morning meditations with my coffee. And so I was like, oh my God, these chairs are perfect for meditating. Like they're, on the more kind of supportive side. So that's great. The issue I'm having is I don't love the fabric. They're more silver in person than I thought they were going to be, and I think it's just throwing me off a little bit, and it's just feeling really busy with everything that's going on right now. So the next things that I'm going to try, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this here or if I'm going to put it back at the angle that it was at before. I'm going to try turning all of the book spines away so that it's page side out for a more neutral look, and maybe just like restyle this a little bit. I think the colors of the book spines are adding a level of busyness that's like really fighting with the chair. And then the rug. I love this rug. Like I love this rug, but the colors with these chairs, I think it's really the chair and rug combo that I'm having a hard time with. And I think what I just need to do is swap my rugs between my living room and bedroom. If only it were that easy. Moving rugs as a single person is such a pain in the ass. I mean, I've done it before. So worst case scenario, I have to move them back afterwards, which would suck. But this morning I pulled tarot for the first time in a long time because I have like a space for it. A small vintage rug for that altar area is another thing on my list. And then the bookcase over by my desk, I might be ready to get rid of. It kind of just feels like it's a bulky kind of in the way thing. The only functionality thing, because all of the books that are in there could totally fit in this bookcase, no problem. The only thing that I really need that for is that my printer is on it right now. If I got a file cabinet, I think I could put the printer on top of the file cabinet. It is 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, and I have a friend that's coming over tomorrow, and I already texted her and I was like, hey, would you mind terribly helping me swap my rugs between my living room and bedroom? And she was like, yeah, of course, no worries. But now I have a second wind and now I really want to do it. And I'm like, do I really want to get into this? Because it's so... Last time when I had to get the rug underneath this bed, I was literally on my hands and knees and I was using my back to prop up the base of the bed so that I could pull the rug under, which is obviously not ideal. We'll see. Also, I've had this massive pimple on my forehead for a couple of days now. It's just like, what is going on? I don't get pimples in the middle of my forehead. It looks like Mount Everest. Maybe my third eye is opening. It's been days and I'm just like, hello. There she is. Cute. I was talking to one of my coworkers the other day who's taking some time off to go visit friends in Berlin. And she told me that she goes to Berlin like 2 to 3 times a year to visit these friends and kind of engage with like the artsy scene out there. And it made me think about how I spent a year abroad in Munich, Germany, when I was in college. Wish it had been Berlin, but it was Munich. But I did get the chance to visit Berlin a couple of times, and I will never forget one of the times I went to Berlin with a couple friends for just like a long weekend or something. And we rented an Airbnb of this young woman who was some sort of like costume designer in Berlin. And the way that being in her apartment made me feel is like a feeling I can barely describe. I felt so incredibly inspired, and I remember looking around that apartment and thinking, this is the kind of life that I want to live, this like creative, artistic, bohemian lifestyle, and I wanted to be the kind of woman that would live in a space like that. And when I look around my apartment now, I like to think that my younger self would come into this apartment and say, wow, the person that lives here seems pretty fucking cool. This is the kind of woman that I want to be. And that makes me really happy and really proud when I look around my space. It's Sunday morning. I am feeling so much more at peace after the rug swap last night. I do think that's exactly what needed to happen. The colors in this rug that are obviously cooler just look so much better with these chairs. The red was really fighting with it, and actually I really like how the red looks in my bedroom too, especially against the vanity. Definitely not done with all of the things that I want to change, shift, shop for right now, but I think I am going to wrap up this video here. To be continued. Honestly, home updates are never ending for a lady like me. I am shopping for a mirror for the vanity area. I have quite a few pieces that I'm selling on Facebook Marketplace, so we'll see if I can move those along. I might still be on the hunt for a very small ottoman for the green swivel chair. Eventually, too, I would love to sell this coffee table and get another one. I honestly have never loved this coffee table, even though every time I post my living room on TikTok, everybody goes absolutely nuts for the coffee table. To be totally honest, the only reason I got it in the first place is because I ordered it online and it came flat packed in a box so that I could get it up the stairs myself, which remains the same kind of major issue or concern with trying to find another coffee table, because what I really want is like a solid wood with a rustic finish. And once again, I'm just like, how the hell would I get something like that upstairs? If you made it to the end, thanks for watching and hanging out as I made these updates. And I'll see you in the next one.